Good morning, everyone. It's good to be able to have another little chat with you about the things of God. Now, the other day, I heard a very wonderful sermon on the life of Joseph. Now, we all know the story of Joseph and his Technicolor dream coat and the songs that went with it, and we perhaps know a little about the story. Now, the truth of the matter is that Joseph and his brother were special favorites of their father Jacob, and he had some dreams, and he dreamt that his brothers, first under the picture of sheaves bowing down to him, and then the sun and moon bowing down to him, and he wasn't very popular with his brothers. In fact, they hated him. Jacob loved him, the rest of them hated him. Well, now, they sent a message out to the brothers who were watching over the flocks, and Joseph was the messenger, and he went out and found them in a place called Dothan to see how they were getting on. They saw him coming, and they began to scheme in their minds how to get rid of him. Some of them wanted to kill him. Others said, no, let's not shed innocent blood. In the end, they conspired to put him into a pit. There wasn't any water in it, it was a dry pit, but they put him in there and were going to leave him there. While they were having some food, a train of Ishmaelitish merchants came by with their camels, and they said, well, why don't we sell him as a slave to the Ishmaelites? And so it was agreed, and the Ishmaelite traders bought him and took him down into Egypt, where he was sold and bought by a man called Potiphar. And Potiphar was a high official in Pharaoh's court. And anyway, Joseph started to work for Potiphar, and it was obvious to Potiphar that he had a real capture. This was a man of great ability because God was with him. Now, in Potiphar's house, sadly, Potiphar's wife cast her eyes on this handsome young man and desired him, and he resisted. He said, I can't sin against my master and against my God. Well, she trapped him and caught hold of his coat, and he ran away. And how good it is to flee from sin. The hymn writer said, oh, may I flee from sin as from a serpent fly, abhor to touch the thing unclean, and rather choose to die. And so it was that he was wrongly accused of attempted rape and was put in prison. In the prison house, he was able to interpret dreams of some of the prisoners, and they were told to remember him, but they didn't, of course. And so it was that he languished in prison, in chains of iron, until one day Pharaoh had these dreams of 7 fat cattle and 7 plentiful sheaves, and one of the ones who had his dream interpreted suddenly remembered there is a man in the prison by the name of Joseph who is able to interpret dreams. He was called for and came before Pharaoh, and Pharaoh asked him about his dreams, and he was able to interpret them and to tell him that there would be 7 years of famine and 7 years of plenty. And so it was that Joseph was appointed by Pharaoh as the minister of food, and he looked after all the affairs. And so when people were short of food, they would come, and the message was, go to Joseph. And in these days of the gospel, when you and I desire the bread of life, the message is, go to Jesus, because he is the one who is able to provide. And so it was that Joseph is now in this position of great authority. And in the end, the brothers are forced to come down to Egypt to try to get hold of food. And in the end, they found themselves bowing down, just as his dream had interpreted it all those years before. We'll go on and continue the story when we've got the chance. Most fascinating story. God bless you. Bye-bye.